Beyond the veil of time, there exists a world of profound mystery, a land where towering monuments whisper secrets to the desert wind, and where the sun itself is a god on a cosmic journey. Forget what you think you know about history, the dusty museum exhibits, and the stoic faces of the pharaohs. We are about to go beyond all of that, to a place where magic was real, and the line between the living and the dead was gossamer thin. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to stand in the shadow of a pyramid, built not by slaves but by people who believed they were building a home for a god? What if you could step back in time and experience that life for yourself? What if you lived in ancient Egypt? Tonight, we're going back over 3,000 years to step into their sandals and discover the surprising, often challenging, and sometimes awe-inspiring reality of their daily existence. We'll go beyond the familiar stories of royalty and religious rituals to explore the lives of the common people, from the fertile banks of the Nile to the bustling streets of Thebes, from the dusty fields of a farmer to the hallowed halls of a temple. We'll explore a world where the gods walked among mortals, where justice was a matter of divine will, and where death was simply a new beginning. So, as the ancient Nile flows on, let your mind drift, unwind, feel the sand between your toes, taste the coarse bread, and prepare to drift off to sleep as we take you to a world that defies imagination. Your journey into the untold story of everyday life starts now. Just let me know where you're listening from and what time it is in your corner of the world. I'm always fascinated to see how far our community reaches. And if these journeys into the past stir something within you, a simple gesture, a whisper of a like, would help us reveal the secrets of this world to others who are ready to listen. Now imagine this. Your entire world, the whole of your existence, is shaped by a single river. Today we rely on a complex network of roads, trains and air travel. Your world, however, revolves around the Nile River. This isn't just a river. It's the lifeblood of your civilization. Think of it as your highway, your breadbasket, and your god all in one. Every year, at the same time, the Nile would flood its banks, depositing a rich black silt across the land. This annual flood, known as the inundation, is what makes your crops grow and allows you to survive. You'd mark your year not by the 4 seasons we know, but by the 3 seasons of the Nile: inundation, growth, and harvest. This cycle is so fundamental to your life that it's woven into every aspect of your culture, from your calendar to your religious beliefs. Without the Nile's annual gift, the land would be nothing but an unforgiving desert. You would be a farmer, and your village would be huddled close to the river, a ribbon of vibrant life in a sea of sand. You would spend the months of the inundation, from July to October, working on projects for the pharaoh, like building monuments or canals, because your fields are underwater. But once the waters recede, from November to February, you'd spend every day planting seeds and tending to your crops, and then from March to June, you'd be harvesting the fruits of your labour. The Nile is a partner in every single step you take, but the Nile isn't all gifts. For every life-giving drop of water, there's a lurking danger. Think about taking a swim. In today's world, you might worry about strong currents or a little pollution. In your time, you'd have to contend with crocodiles and hippos, both a constant threat to anyone near the water's edge. Even a simple drink could put you at risk of diseases and parasites like schistosomiasis, a debilitating condition caused by a parasitic flatworm found in the Nile. Your body might be tougher than ours, but these invisible enemies would be a constant threat to your health. These threats are a constant reminder that for all of its gifts, the natural world is a powerful force that you must respect and revere. So where do you fit into all of this? Your social standing is a matter of pure luck. It's not about what you know, but who your parents are. Your society is a rigid pyramid. At the very top is the pharaoh, a living god who rules over you. Below him are the elites, the priests, the viziers, and the scribes. Below them are the soldiers, craftsmen, and merchants. And at the bottom, making up over 90% of the population, are people just like you, the farmers. As a farmer, your life would be a constant cycle of hard work. You don't own the land you farm. It belongs to the pharaoh or a local noble. You work the fields, enduring the scorching sun, and in return for your labour and a place to live, you pay a portion of your harvest as a tax. Your life is defined by the rhythm of the Nile and the needs of your master. Your diet would be simple: bread, beer, and perhaps some fish from the river. Meat is a rarity, reserved for festivals or the wealthy, but there is a different kind of life at the very bottom of the social ladder. Slaves in your time are not a large part of the labour force. They are often prisoners of war or criminals. Their lives are harsh and their labour is a form of punishment. However, they are not the ones who built the magnificent pyramids. That's a common misconception, isn't it? In your reality, if you were to work on a pyramid, you would be a skilled labourer. These aren't the forced labourers of Hollywood law. You and your fellow workers would be paid for your efforts, often in bread, beer, and other supplies. You'd live in a purpose-built village with your own doctors, and even get meat in your diet, a luxury for a commoner. This is an honoured and important job, a way for you to serve your living God, the Pharaoh, and earn respect in your community. When your work is done and your life is over, you would even be granted an honourable burial, a far cry from the fate of a slave. Now, when you think about ancient societies, you probably picture women having no rights, being little more than property. In your new life in ancient Egypt, you'd find a surprising and refreshing reality. As a woman, you would be a legal equal to men. This is a monumental difference from the societies in Greece or Rome that would emerge thousands of years later, where women had virtually no rights. You could own and sell property, run your own businesses, and even file for divorce. The legal system would protect your rights, and you would be an active participant in the economic and legal life of your community. While men and women had distinct roles, men often working in the fields and women managing the household, your contribution is valued just as much as your husband's. You're not just a passive member of your family. You have a say in your life and your future. As a child, your role is just as vital. You're not just a small version of an adult. You're a member of a team. Your childhood would be much shorter than what you're used to today. You'd be expected to help with chores from a young age, take care of younger siblings, and learn the family trade. There's no compulsory schooling for you as a commoner. Your education is practical, passed down from your parents. You'll learn to farm the land, manage the household, or assist in the craft that your family practices. You might play games, but your life is about preparing for adulthood, about contributing to the family unit. For all, family is everything. Life expectancy is much lower than today. Many people wouldn't live past their 30s or 40s. Because of this, the bonds of family are crucial. Your family unit would be your safety net, your support system, and your social circle. The elderly, those lucky enough to reach old age, are respected for their wisdom. It would be a child's duty to care for their aging parents, ensuring they were well cared for in their final years. A day in the life of a commoner. Your world is not a place of harsh lines and sudden movements. It is a slow, cyclical place, and your day begins not with the jolt of an alarm, but with the subtle, apathetic whisper of light on the eastern horizon. You wake on a simple woven mat, your muscles already familiar with the ache of tomorrow's work. The air is cool and still, a fleeting gift before the sun. Ra begins his fiery journey across the sky. Your home is not a house in the way you know it. It is a humble structure of mud bricks, its walls baked solid by the sun's unforgiving heat. The single room holds your entire world. A few pottery jars, a simple stone oven, and the familiar scent of grain and earth. The privacy you cherish in your modern world is a concept lost to time. Your family, your wife, your children, your aging parents all share this intimate space. A single, intertwined unit bound by blood and the shared struggle to survive. For you, in this time, a long life is a miracle, not an expectation. Life expectancy is a harsh whisper on the wind. With many in your village not living past their late 30s or early 40s, every day is a silent, profound triumph against disease, famine, and the relentless physical toll of your labour. Your first meal is a ritual of necessity, and it's the same one you'll have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You would break off a piece of a thick, dense loaf of bread, its texture coarse and gritty from the inevitable sand ground into the grain during milling, and you would drink from a jug of home-brewed beer. This isn't the light, bubbly beer you know today. It is a thick, low-alcohol concoction, more like a sweet, grainy soup that provides the raw, unrefined energy for the day's back-breaking labour in the fields. Your tools are not just objects, they are a legacy, passed down through generations. A simple plough of wood, pulled by an ox, a sickle with a flint blade, a hoe of stone and wood. These are the tools that bind you to the land, that make you a co-creator with the gods. You would spend the morning under the unrelenting sun, your feet sinking into the fertile black soil, a sacred gift from the Nile. Your labour is not just for you, it is a sacred duty. You are a humble priest in the great living temple of the land. A large portion of your harvest is a tax, a tribute paid directly to the pharaoh, the living god, who ensures the Nile's flood. This is not a choice, it is a necessary contribution to the cosmic order of Ma'at. Your clothing is simple and functional. A plain linen kilt for you, a straight linen dress for your wife. These garments are a part of you, woven from the very linen you or your family grew, a living record of your hard work. You would likely go barefoot, your feet hardened from a lifetime spent on the earth, connecting you to the very soil that sustains you. Your life is a constant test of endurance, a celebration of your profound connection to the land that feeds you and your family. But in this simplicity, there is a deep and abiding spiritual richness. A life lived in harmony with the gods and the natural world, a life so fundamentally different from your own that it feels like a dream. A day in the life of a soldier. Your world is no longer defined by the gentle rhythm of the Nile. It is a world of sharp angles and sudden movements, of discipline and the deep, silent hum of danger. Your day begins with a jolt, not from a rooster, but from the sharp echoing commands of your superior. You're in a military barracks, a vast open courtyard, where you and your brothers in arms sleep in communal quarters. The first sound you hear is not the gentle call of a bird, but the urgent, demanding cry of a horn, an order that slices through the crisp morning air. Your body is not a labourer's tool, it is a finely tuned weapon for the pharaoh's will, and you must keep it in perfect condition. Your morning is spent on drills, a brutal ballet of combat, the rhythmic pounding of your feet on the hard ground, the swift, deadly thrust of your bronze-tipped spear. It all becomes a part of you, an instinct etched into your very being. You learn to move as one with your unit, a single disciplined force of nature. You practice with your leather shield, learning to fend off a hail of javelins and arrows. You swing your scythe-like khopesh, its curved, deadly blade, a familiar weight in your hand, a chilling extension of your arm. Every muscle, every fibre of your being is trained for one purpose: to serve the God King and expand his dominion. Your gear is not a collection of items, it is a part of your identity. A simple linen cuirass for armour, a shield of hardened leather, and your trusted weapons. The food is better than what the common farmer eats. While bread and beer are still your staples, you'll also get meat, a rare luxury that keeps you strong for battle and for the arduous marches to come. But with this increased reward comes a grave increase in risk. Your life expectancy is shorter than a commoner's, a life defined not by years but by the constant threat of injury or disease on campaign. Unlike the farmer, your life is not a predictable cycle. It's a series of brutal, often bloody, campaigns. You could be marching for weeks through the parched desert, your body pushed to its absolute limit, the sand biting at your skin. You could be fighting the mighty Hittites in the Levant, their chariots thundering across the battlefield like a storm. You would face not only the enemy's spears and arrows, but the silent, unseen threats of dysentery from a contaminated river, the festering wounds from a minor scratch, or the sheer exhaustion that could take you in your sleep. Every shadow, every distant sound is a potential ambush. Your life is a constant test of courage, loyalty, and your will to survive. Yet, this life offers a path of ascension, a chance to escape the very bottom of the social pyramid. A common man like you can be promoted based on your strength and skill. You can rise in the ranks, earn a better living, and bring glory to your family. The spoils of a conquered city could be yours, a share of the gold and jewels that will make your family's name known for generations. It is a life of obedience and sacrifice, but it also provides a path to a better life, a chance to win glory for your family that a farmer could only dream of. The thrill of victory, the honour of service, these are rewards that make every moment of danger worth it. And if you should fall in battle, you'll be buried with honour, a hero who served the God King. You are a soldier, a guardian of the divine order, and your life is a testament to the power of the Pharaoh and the might of the kingdom. But how would your life be if you were a part of the elite? The whisper of dawn in your world is not a call to labour, but a gentle summoning to a life of refined privilege. You awaken not on a simple mat, but in a chamber on the second floor of a sprawling estate. The air is cool and still, scented with the subtle perfume of incense and fresh-cut flowers from your private gardens. As the first light filters through high, narrow windows, you look out over a scene that is both a landscape and a symbol of your power. A courtyard with a shimmering pool, groves of pomegranate and fig trees, and a small army of servants already at work. Your home is not just a house, it is a fortress of comfort, built with sun-dried mud bricks and painted with vibrant murals. You are an elite, and the world bends to your will. Your morning is a meticulous ritual of preparation, handled entirely by your staff. Servants attend to your every need, from pouring cool water for your wash basin to dressing you in the finest, sheerest linen, a translucent fabric that signals to all that you are a person of leisure, untouched by the commoner's labour. They would meticulously apply kohl eyeliner to your eyes, a cosmetic practice that is both aesthetic and a form of sun protection. The most intricate part of your morning would be the selection of your jewellery, a wide golden necklace in the shape of a falcon, bracelets of lapis lazuli and rings of turquoise. These aren't just accessories, they are powerful amulets, imbued with divine protection and a clear statement of your immense wealth. Your life is not a cycle of planting and harvesting, but one of management and influence. As a nobleman, your day is defined by your duties to the pharaoh and the state. You are a governor, a high-ranking priest, or a powerful scribe, and your work takes place not under the harsh sun, but in a cool, quiet office. You would spend hours reviewing papyrus scrolls, dictating letters to scribes who meticulously record your every word. You are a vital cog in the complex machine of Egyptian bureaucracy, responsible for overseeing taxes, managing vast land estates, and ensuring the smooth flow of resources across the kingdom. Your power is immense, and your decisions can determine the fate of entire villages. Lunch is not a simple affair. It's a feast, a display of your wealth and your access to the finest foods in the land. Your table is piled high with roasted goose, fresh fish from the Nile, and an abundance of exotic fruits and vegetables. You would drink fine wine from elegant clay goblets, a luxury a commoner would never experience. But this life of indulgence has its own quiet dangers. Your diet, rich in meats and sweets, puts you at risk of health problems like diabetes and heart disease. The sand in your bread, an unavoidable consequence of ancient milling, slowly wears down your teeth, leaving you in constant pain. The stress of your duties, the political intrigue, and the constant pressure to maintain your status are your own unique and often silent threats. You are a guardian of a system that can both reward and destroy you, a prisoner of your own rank, a person of immense power with a fragile existence. Now, ascend to the very pinnacle of the pyramid. You are the pharaoh, a god among mortals, the living embodiment of Horus on earth. Forget the image of a leader who simply sits on a throne all day. Your life is a demanding, highly regimented, and deeply spiritual one, a performance that begins long before dawn. You are awoken by a chorus of priests and servants who attend to your every need. There is no concept of privacy here. From the moment you stir, you are surrounded by an entourage of officials, bodyguards, and servants. Every action, every moment of your day is an act of state, a ritual for the gods. You would never be truly alone. Your first order of business is your grooming, a complex ritual that is part bath, part anointing. Servants would bathe you with scented oils, your skin oiled with lotions to protect it from the relentless sun. You would be dressed in fine pleated linen clothes, a garment so delicate and sheer it is a sign of your divine status. Your appearance must be perfect, a reflection of the cosmic order you're tasked with maintaining. Your head would be shaved, not for style, but for ritual purity, and you would wear an elaborate wig, often adorned with gold and silver threads, a headdress of unimaginable weight and beauty. This is not just a fashion statement, it is a symbol of your absolute power. Your life is a meticulously planned sequence of rituals and duties. A Greek historian named Diodorus claimed that the pharaoh's life was so regimented by law that even their meals and daily routines were prescribed. While modern historians debate this, your day would certainly be a non-stop series of tasks. You would meet with your viziers to oversee the economy and justice system, your word on the fate of your people, final and unquestionable. You would attend religious ceremonies in the temple, making offerings to the gods to ensure the continued fertility of the Nile and the stability of the cosmos. Every public appearance is a performance of divinity, with you being carried in a magnificent sedan chair by your servants, the fan bearers providing a cool breeze and signalling your arrival. Your diet would be decadent, filled with roasted meats, fine wines, and rare fruits brought to you by royal tribute. Your meals are not just for nourishment, they are a demonstration of your wealth and power, a feast for a king. Yet your life is also full of dangers that commoners would never face. Your health would be at risk from a rich diet, and the practice of inbreeding, a tradition meant to keep your bloodline pure and divine, could lead to genetic issues. King Tut, for example, had a clubfoot and would have needed a cane to walk, a physical reality in stark contrast to his divine status. And you would face the constant threat of a political conspiracy. The harem conspiracy that led to the death of Ramses III shows that even the most powerful pharaoh could fall victim to betrayal from within his own family. You are a god on earth, but you're not immune to the threats of mortals. You are a divine being in a human body, and your life is a delicate balance between the sacred and the mundane. The weight of the kingdom rests on your shoulders, a burden that is both a divine right and a heavy chain. And how about leisure and entertainment? In a life of hard work and duty, you might wonder how you would ever unwind. In this world, leisure is not a luxury reserved for the elite, but a treasured part of your life, a vital way to escape the physical and mental toil of the day. And for you, as an ancient Egyptian, that escape is found in the simple joys of music, games, and the comfort of your community. For the commoner, your nights are for relaxation with your family and friends. Your home would be filled with the rhythmic sound of music. You could be playing an instrument yourself, perhaps a simple wooden flute carved with a humble design, its sound echoing the calls of the birds on the Nile. Or you might be beating a simple handheld tambourine, its light percussive rhythm setting the pace for a group dance. If you were lucky, a friend or neighbour might have a lyre, its strings creating a haunting, ethereal melody that fills the night air. Music and dance are not just for entertainment. They are a core part of social gatherings and festivals. The rhythmic clapping, the haunting sounds of the harp, and the graceful, expressive movements of a professional dancer would fill the air at a nobleman's banquet. But even in your humble village, the joy is just as real. Music is a way to tell stories, to celebrate life, and to connect with the divine. It is a shared experience, a common language that binds your community together. But for all, the favourite pastime is the board game. This is an activity that transcends the rigid social hierarchy. You would sit on a cool stone floor with your family, the board laid out between you, and play Senet, which means passing. This isn't just a game, it is a spiritual journey. The goal is to get your pieces to the other side of the board, a symbolic journey to the afterlife. It was a game so important that it was often buried in tombs. Its board and pieces meant to help the deceased spirit navigate the underworld. The game itself is a mix of chance and strategy, a reminder that your fate is in the hands of the gods, but your choices still matter. Another game you might play is Mehen, or the snake game, where a snake is coiled on the board and you and your friends race to get to the centre. For the children, simple wooden dolls, clay animals, and balls made from linen would fill their days with joy, their laughter echoing in the small bustling streets. For the elite, leisure would also include grand spectacles and sports. As a nobleman, you might indulge in hunting, a sport that is as much about skill and power as it is about entertainment. You might go on a hunt for hippos and crocodiles in the marshes of the Nile, a sport as dangerous as it is thrilling. The risk of the hunt is a way to prove your bravery and your mastery over the wild. These hunts were not just for food, they were a ceremonial display of your power, an act of subduing the chaotic forces of the world. For the pharaoh, hunting was an even more sacred act, a symbolic reenactment of the god Horus defeating the evil god Set. They might also attend chariot races or wrestling matches, cheering on their favourite competitors. But at the end of the day, whether you are a pharaoh or a farmer, leisure is a simple joy found in the company of your family and friends, in the simple music and in the comfort of a well-played game. It's a reminder that even in a harsh world, there is time for joy. When it comes to health and hygiene, in your new life, your body is a fragile vessel, and its well-being is a constant, pressing concern. There are no hospitals, no sterile operating rooms, no vials of antibiotics. Yet, in this ancient world, you would discover a medical system of surprising sophistication, a delicate blend of empirical knowledge and spiritual mysticism. To fall ill here is to enter a world where your doctor is also a priest, and your cure is as much a prayer as it is a prescription. Your health is intrinsically linked to your hygiene, and in this regard, the ancient Egyptians are fastidious. You would likely bathe daily, not in a porcelain tub, but in the cool waters of the Nile, or from a basin in your home. Your soap would be a simple concoction of animal fat, ash and oils, a rudimentary cleanser that still manages to leave your skin feeling clean. For you, cleanliness is not just a personal habit, it is a sacred duty. You would shave all of your body hair, a practice that not only helped with the heat, but also prevented the spread of lice and other parasites. You would use a form of deodorant, a paste made of spices and plants, to keep yourself smelling fresh. To be clean is to be in a state of grace, a sign of your respect for the gods and for the social order. If you were to fall ill, you would not be without hope. The ancient Egyptian doctors, or Wab priests, are highly respected and specialised. You might see a dentist attend to your teeth, which are likely worn down by the grit and sand that inevitably found its way into your bread. They would have tools to pull a tooth or even drain an abscess. You could visit a surgeon who would be skilled in mending broken bones, setting them in splints made from linen and wood. In the papyrus scrolls, there are records of doctors performing complex surgeries, including trephination, a procedure where they would drill a hole in the skull to relieve pressure. This knowledge, born from countless observations and dissections, is a source of great awe. But there is a hidden layer to their medicine, a mystical dimension that would feel alien to you. For every ailment, there is not only a physical cause, but a spiritual one. You would believe that a sickness could be caused by an evil spirit, a curse from a jealous god, or the influence of a demon. Therefore, your treatment would include incantations and prayers. The doctor might perform a ritual to drive the evil spirit from your body, or he might give you a special amulet to wear around your neck. The line between doctor and priest is blurred, and the cure is a combination of herbal remedies and magical spells. You might be prescribed a poultice made from herbs and honey to treat a wound. But you would also be given a charm to ward off the evil eye. This is a world where medicine is not just a science, but a mystery, and your health is not just a matter of your body, but of your soul. When it comes to law and order, in your world there are no courthouses with juries or robed judges in the way you know them. Justice here is a more mystical, deeply personal affair, a delicate balance between human reason and divine will. As an ancient Egyptian, you would find yourself in a legal system that is both surprisingly equitable and profoundly mysterious. If a dispute were to arise, perhaps a disagreement with a neighbour over a shared irrigation channel, or a theft from your home, you would not call a police officer. You would petition a local official, a respected elder from your community, who would hear the case in the open air, a clear sign that justice is not something to be hidden. This is a world where men and women are considered equal under the law. As a woman, you would have the right to file a lawsuit, to own and sell property, and to petition for divorce. Your testimony would hold the same weight as a man's, a remarkable truth that sets your society apart from many that would follow. The laws themselves were not written on large scrolls in some government building. They were based on a deep-seated belief in Ma'at, the concept of cosmic truth, justice, and order. To break a law was not just to harm another person, it was to disrupt the divine balance of the universe, an act that could bring chaos and misfortune upon your entire community. But for the most complex cases, the ones that could not be solved by a simple hearing, you would turn to a power far greater than any human official. You would seek out a divine oracle. Imagine a tense scene, a dispute over land, where a pharaoh's court has failed to reach a consensus. The two parties, their families, and the entire community would gather at the local temple, a sense of awe and fear hanging in the air. The priests would bring forth a statue of a god, perhaps Amun-Ra or Thoth, and a sacred life-altering procession would begin. The god, through its statue, would be the final judge. The two opposing arguments would be written on papyrus scrolls, and the statue would be carried through the crowd on the shoulders of the priests. When it reached the scroll containing the winning argument, it would inexplicably lean or move in that direction. This was not seen as a simple human manipulation, but as a direct pronouncement from the divine. For you, the decision was final, absolute, and beyond question. It was a tangible moment where the line between the human and the divine disappeared, a raw and powerful display of the god's direct involvement in your daily life. The system was not without its human flaws. While the oracle's judgment was final, the process was often influenced by the priests who carried the statue. But for you, as a person living in this world, this was the way things were. It was a system that provided a sense of order and justice in a world that could be chaotic and unforgiving. The law was not just a list of rules, it was a living, breathing force, a direct extension of the divine will. The fear of disrupting Ma'at and the understanding that your actions were being watched by the gods themselves was a powerful deterrent. To live in this time is to live in a world where justice is a spiritual journey, where your fate could be decided not by a mortal judge, but by the very gods you worship. How about your social and community life? Your life is not lived in isolation. It is a tapestry woven with the threads of community, a shared existence defined by the rhythm of the gods and the presence of the animal world. For you, as an ancient Egyptian, social life is deeply intertwined with your spiritual beliefs. The most profound social events are not parties or banquets, but the grand festivals that mark the calendar, moments of shared ecstasy and communion with the divine. Imagine the city of Thebes during the Opet festival, the most important celebration of the year. The air is thick with the scent of incense and the sound of music. You would join a massive procession, your body swaying to the beat of drums and the rhythmic clapping of your neighbours. The statues of the gods, Amun, Mut and Khonsu, are brought out of the inner sanctums of their temples, their sacred barks carried on the shoulders of priests. This is not a static ritual. It is a joyous, boisterous journey down the avenue of sphinxes to the temple of Luxor. The crowds would cheer, sing and dance, their voices a single hymn of reverence. For you, this is a tangible moment where the gods walk among you. You would witness the incredible sight of the pharaoh himself, a god on earth leading the procession, a moment that solidifies your faith and brings a deep sense of security. The festival is a celebration of the Nile's fertility, of the pharaoh's divine power, and of the cosmic order that holds your world together. Your relationship with animals is just as profound and complex as your relationship with the gods. You would find that animals are not just for labor or food, they are an integral part of your daily life and your spiritual world. Your humble home might be shared with a cat, a revered animal believed to be the protector of the home. Cats were associated with the goddess Bastet and were considered so sacred that killing one, even by accident, was a crime punishable by death. If you were wealthy, you might have a dog, a hunting companion, and a loyal friend. Dogs were also revered and often mummified with their owners to accompany them into the afterlife. For you, these animals are not just pets, they are sacred beings that bring you closer to the divine. But your connection to the animal world goes even deeper. You would rely on cattle for your fields, and donkeys would be your beasts of burden. You would also encounter animals that are considered the living embodiments of the gods. The falcon, for example, is the living form of Horus, the god of the sky. The ibis, with its long curved beak, is the sacred animal of Thoth, the god of wisdom and writing. You would see them in the wild, and you would understand that you're not just looking at a bird, but at a vessel for the divine. The awe you feel would be a constant part of your life, a reminder that the gods are present in the world around you. This reverence for animals is a profound part of your spiritual life, a belief that every creature, from the smallest scarab beetle to the mighty crocodile, has a role to play in the divine order of the universe. In your new life in ancient Egypt, you would quickly learn that age is not a burden but a badge of honor. To reach old age is a profound blessing from the gods, a sign that you have lived a life in harmony with Ma'at. In a world with a short life expectancy, the elderly are a precious resource, the living memory of your community. You would not find nursing homes or assisted living facilities here. Instead, the care of the elderly is a sacred duty, a responsibility that falls to the family. Your family would be your primary support system, your refuge in old age. If you're a commoner, you would likely live with your children, your days filled with the simple, joyful task of helping to raise your grandchildren and telling them the stories of your life, of the great floods of the Nile and of the pharaohs you have served. Your wisdom, born from a lifetime of experience, is more valuable than gold. Your advice on planting crops, on navigating a family dispute, or on interpreting a dream would be sought out and respected. In this society, the elderly are not pushed aside. They are woven into the very fabric of daily life. For the elite, old age would be an even more comfortable affair. You would continue to live in your grand estate, but you would be served by a vast staff of servants and a team of doctors dedicated to your health. Your days would be filled with the quiet pleasures of your gardens, of conversations with your family, and of advising your children on the complexities of the kingdom. Your status and influence would only grow with your age, as your wisdom and experience are seen as a divine gift. However, the role of the elderly is not a passive one. Even in old age, you're expected to contribute to your family and your community. You would be the keeper of the family's traditions, the one who remembers the sacred stories and the rituals for the gods. You would be the one who teaches the next generation, passing on the skills and knowledge that have been honed over a lifetime. This is a profound and meaningful role, a testament to the belief that every life, no matter how old, has a purpose. To grow old in this world is not to become obsolete, it is to become a living monument to your own resilience and a sacred link to the past. Now, what role did religion and the afterlife play in the life of the ancient Egyptians? In this world, the gods are not a distant, abstract concept. They are a palpable, ever-present force woven into the very fabric of your daily life. They are in the sun that warms your skin, the river that feeds your crops, and the wind that whispers through the papyrus reeds. To be an ancient Egyptian is to live in a world where the divine and the mundane are one and the same. Your beliefs are not a matter of faith. They are a matter of a reality you can see, feel, and experience every day. You would be a participant in a vast and complex tapestry of beliefs, a world filled with thousands of gods and goddesses, each with their own domain and their own story. At the pinnacle of this pantheon is Ra, the sun god, the creator of the universe. Every morning you would watch as the sun rises, and you would understand that you're not just seeing a star, but witnessing Ra's sacred journey across the sky in his solar bark. You would believe that as he travels through the sky, he brings light and life to the world, and that when he descends into the underworld at night, he battles the forces of chaos, ensuring that the sun will rise again. But Ra is not alone. There is Osiris, the god of the afterlife and rebirth. He is the one who will judge your soul after you die, the king of a green and fertile underworld where the righteous are reborn. His wife, Isis, is the great mother goddess, a protector of magic and healing. You would turn to her in times of sickness or trouble, knowing she has the power to heal and to comfort. There is Horus, the falcon-headed god of the sky, whose eyes are the sun and the moon. The pharaoh himself is believed to be the living embodiment of Horus on earth, a living god who maintains the cosmic order. And there is Thoth, the god of writing, wisdom, and the moon. You would see him as the keeper of knowledge, the one who would record your deeds in the afterlife. But the most important concept, the one that governs your entire existence, is Ma'at. This is not a god, but an idea, a divine principle that represents truth, justice, balance, and cosmic order. It is the invisible force that holds the universe together, preventing it from collapsing into chaos. Every single one of your actions, from the smallest gesture of kindness to the grandest act of a pharaoh, has an impact on Ma'at. When you are honest in a business deal, you are upholding Ma'at. When you treat your neighbor with respect, you are honoring Ma'at. When the pharaoh rules justly and the Nile floods on time, it is because Ma'at is in balance. To live your life in accordance with Ma'at is your most sacred duty, a moral compass that guides your every step. It is a profound and beautiful concept, a reminder that your every action, no matter how small, has a cosmic significance. In this world, you are a co-creator of the divine order, a humble participant in the great cosmic dance that keeps the world from falling into chaos. In your world, there are no churches, mosques, or synagogues as you know them. The temple is not a place for congregational worship, but a sacred house for the gods themselves. As a commoner, you would be forbidden from entering the inner sanctums. Your worship is an act of personal devotion, performed on the streets, in your home, and at the grand festivals that spill out from the temple gates. Yet you would feel the temple's presence, its towering pylons and sacred obelisks, a constant silent presence on your horizon, a physical link between your world and the divine. Imagine yourself approaching the temple of Amun-Ra at Karnak. The scale of it is staggering, designed to fill you with a sense of awe and your own insignificance. The towering gateway, the pylon, is a cosmic mountain that separates the human world from the sacred realm within. You would stand outside with other worshippers, offering prayers and leaving simple offerings, a loaf of bread, a flower, a small painted statuette of a god. The air is thick with the scent of burning incense, and the distant sound of priestly chants echoes from within. You are a pilgrim at the threshold of a great mystery, and the feeling is both humbling and exhilarating. Inside, the life of the temple is a complex daily ritual performed by the priests, or wab priests. Their day is a sacred ballet of service, an intricate performance that ensures the gods remain pleased and the cosmic order of Ma'at is maintained. Your priest, a man who has undergone years of rigorous training, would begin his day with a ritual purification, shaving his entire body to ensure not a single strand of hair could enter the sacred presence of the god. He would then enter the inner sanctum, a dark, cool room where the statue of the god resides in a gilded shrine. He would break the wax seal on the shrine, a symbolic act of waking the god, and then perform a series of rituals, anointing the statue with scented oils, dressing it in fine linen clothes, and offering it a meal of bread, beer, meat, and fresh flowers. This isn't just a symbolic act. For the priest and for you, this is a literal act of serving and nourishing a living deity. This daily ritual is a secret, a mystery known only to a select few. The temple itself is a microcosm of the universe, and every part of it has a cosmic meaning. The temple's floor represents the primordial mound from which creation began. The columns and halls are the thick papyrus reeds of the marshes, and the ceiling, painted with stars, is the great celestial river across which the sun god Ra travels. To enter the temple is to step back in time to the very moment of creation. The temple is a place of immense power, a place where the gods can be consulted, where the fate of the kingdom can be determined, and where the forces of chaos can be held at bay. For you, your worship would take place in your own humble home. You would have a small personal shrine, a small statuette of your favourite god, perhaps Isis, the Great Mother, or Bez, the protector of the home and children. You would light a small lamp and offer a simple prayer, a personal act of devotion. This is where your deepest spiritual connection is forged, in the quiet moments of your daily life. You would also find spiritual solace in the presence of sacred animals. The temple of the cat goddess Bastet, for example, would be home to thousands of sacred cats, each a vessel for the divine. To walk among them is a form of worship in itself. Your worship is not confined to a single building. It is a part of who you are, a constant and unwavering presence in your life, a living testament to the belief that the gods are watching, listening, and guiding your every step. For you, in this world, death is not an end. It is merely a transition, a sacred journey from the mortal realm to the afterlife, a beautiful and terrifying path to a new existence. Your greatest fear is not death itself, but the possibility that your body will not be preserved, that the rituals of passage will be incomplete. For without your body, your spirit, your very essence, cannot exist in the next world. The grand pyramids and the intricate tombs are not just monuments to a pharaoh's ego. They are a profound, sacred promise that the journey to eternity will be a success. When your time comes, your family will not mourn you in the way you might expect. They would mourn, of course, but their focus would be on ensuring the sacred rituals are performed with the utmost care. Your body would be taken to a specialized workshop, a place of profound silence and reverence, where priests would begin the holy process of mummification. The process is not a gruesome act. It is a spiritual one, a sacred reenactment of the myth of Osiris, who was torn apart and reassembled by his devoted wife, Isis. The first step is the most startling. A priest would make a small incision in your side to remove your internal organs. But fear not, these are not simply discarded. Your stomach, intestines, liver, and lungs are carefully preserved and placed in 4 canopic jars, each with a lid shaped like one of the 4 sons of Horus. These jars will be placed in your tomb, a sacred home for the parts of you that are so vital to your existence. The most crucial part of your being, your heart, is left untouched. It is the seat of your intelligence, your emotion, your very soul. It will be the single most important part of you, for it will be weighed against the feather of Ma'at in the final judgment. The priest would then fill your body with a type of natron salt, a substance that would draw all the moisture from your skin and flesh. For 40 days your body would lie in this salt, slowly transforming from a mortal shell into an eternal vessel. After your body is completely dehydrated, it would be washed and anointed with fragrant oils and resins. Your body would then be wrapped in hundreds of yards of linen strips, each layer a protective shield for your spiritual journey. Hidden between the layers of linen are magical amulets, each with its own specific power to protect you from the dangers of the underworld. There might be a scarab amulet placed over your heart, its purpose to ensure that your heart does not lie when it is weighed against the feather of truth. There would be charms to ward off evil spirits, and charms to help you remember the words to the spells you will need to recite. Each amulet is a secret prayer, a whisper of protection, a tangible link to the gods who will guide you. Finally, you are placed in your sarcophagus, a sacred coffin carved to look like you, your face painted with serene features, your eyes staring into eternity. The sarcophagus is not just a container, it is a home for your car, your spirit double, and your bar, your unique personality. The sarcophagus and the coffin within it are your last, most important earthly possession, a secure vessel for your journey to the field of reeds, the blissful paradise you will enter if you're deemed worthy. The tomb itself is filled with everything you would need for the afterlife: food, furniture, games, and even statuettes of servants to do your bidding. It is a profound act of love and respect, a promise from your family and your community that you will be well cared for in the next world, a place where the sun always shines, the fields are always fertile, and your greatest wishes are fulfilled. Your journey to eternity is not a peaceful slumber. It is a perilous odyssey, a terrifying and awe-inspiring test of your soul, and a final, ultimate destination. You would not enter the afterlife without a guide. Your tomb, your body, and your sarcophagus are all equipped with the most important roadmap to the next world, the Book of the Dead. This isn't a single book, but a collection of spells, incantations, and prayers, a personal guide for you to navigate the treacherous landscape of the underworld. The spells would be written on papyrus scrolls, often placed in your coffin, and you would need them to overcome the demons, beasts, and gates that stand between you and your eternal paradise. As your spirit, your bar, separates from your body, you find yourself at the entrance to the underworld, a place of profound darkness and silent rivers. You are no longer in the land of the living, and the journey has just begun. The first part is a test of your knowledge, a series of mystical gates guarded by terrifying, half-animal demons who demand a password or a spell to let you pass. With the knowledge from your Book of the Dead, you would recite the correct words and the gates would open, a profound, eerie sense of relief washing over you. After navigating these trials, you would arrive at the most terrifying and important moment of your entire existence, the weighing of the heart ceremony in the Hall of Ma'at. You stand before a pantheon of gods, a divine jury of 42 judges, each with a different animal head, their faces filled with a silent, profound judgment. Your heart, the seat of your soul, and your life's actions is about to be weighed against the sacred feather of Ma'at, the feather of truth and cosmic order. Imagine the scene. The great hall is silent, the air heavy with divine power. On one side of the great scale stands Anubis, the jackal-headed god of the dead, the guardian of your soul. He carefully places your heart on one side of the scale. On the other side, the goddess Ma'at stands, her head adorned with a single white feather. The fate of your eternal soul rests on whether your heart, heavy with the burden of your life's deeds, is lighter than a single feather. To your side stands Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom and writing, with a scroll in his hand, ready to record the outcome. The atmosphere is tense, a moment of profound, breathtaking suspense that has been waiting for you since the moment of your birth. As the scale teeters, you would look at your heart, and your life would flash before you. Every secret thought, every good deed, every moment of deceit and kindness is present in its weight. If your heart is light, a perfect reflection of a life lived in harmony with Ma'at, the scale will balance. A moment of triumph and relief, a wave of profound joy would wash over you. If your heart is heavy with the weight of your sins, the scale will tip, and a terrifying fate awaits you. In the center of the hall, near the scale, waits Amit, the devourer of the dead, a terrifying beast with the head of a crocodile, the torso of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. Amit is not a god, she is an executioner, and her sole purpose is to consume the souls of the unworthy. If your heart is found to be heavy, Amit would lunge forward, and your soul would be annihilated. Its journey to the afterlife ended, a final horrifying end to your existence. But if your heart is lighter than a feather, if you are deemed worthy, a new journey begins. You are welcomed by Osiris, the god of the afterlife, and you are reborn in the blissful, eternal paradise of the Field of Reeds. The Field of Reeds is a perfect mirror image of the world you left behind. It is a world of fertile fields, where the sun always shines, the Nile is always flowing, and the crops are always bountiful. It is a place of unending feasting and joy, where you would live with your family and loved ones for all eternity, free from the worries of hunger, disease, and hard labor. You would be able to return to the world of the living as a ghost to visit your loved ones, and you would be a constant, peaceful presence in their lives. The fear of death is replaced by the profound, comforting belief that your life here is a preparation for a more perfect existence, a journey that has just begun. The afterlife is not a distant, abstract place, it is a sacred reality, a promise and a mystery that gives your life a profound purpose. Your journey to the afterlife is not a journey you would make empty-handed. In your world, the deceased are not just laid to rest, they are equipped, armed, and prepared for a new existence. The tomb, from its painted walls to the very objects placed within it, is a sacred home for your soul, and a supply cache for eternity. The concept of grave goods is not about burial with wealth. It is about providing for your needs in the next world, a profound act of love and respect from your family and your community. For you, a commoner, your tomb would be a humble affair, perhaps a simple burial in the desert sands. But even in that simplicity, you would be provided for. You might be buried with a small wooden statuette of a servant, a shabti, which means one who answers. This small figure is imbued with a powerful spell, and in the afterlife, if you're called upon to do a difficult or mundane task, you would be able to speak the words, and the shabti would come to life, performing the labour for you. This is a profound and comforting thought, that even in the next world, you would be spared from the back-breaking toil that defined your life on earth. Your tomb might also contain a simple loaf of bread, a jar of beer, and a small amulet to protect you on your journey, a silent promise from your family that they will not let you go hungry. For the elite, your tomb is a lavish and magnificent reflection of your life on earth. The walls would be covered in intricate murals, not just for beauty, but as a magical guide to the afterlife. These paintings would show you feasting in the Field of Reeds, hunting with your family, and receiving offerings from your loved ones. These are not just images, they are a form of magic, a way to ensure that these events would actually happen in the next world. Your tomb would be filled with furniture, with chests containing your finest linen clothes, and with your most treasured possessions. A nobleman might be buried with a model of his estate, complete with a small model of a house, a boat, and a garden, ensuring that he can continue to oversee his property in the afterlife. And for the pharaoh, the tomb is a universe unto itself. The pyramid is a cosmic ladder, a staircase to the stars, and the chambers within are a reflection of the underworld. The walls would be covered with spells and incantations, the pyramid texts a sacred map to guide the pharaoh's soul on its journey to join the sun god Ra. The tomb is not a place of final rest, it is a place of continuous action, a launch pad for the pharaoh's journey to the stars. The treasures within are not just a display of wealth, but a way to ensure the pharaoh has everything he needs for eternity. Gold sarcophagi, intricate jewellery, and chests overflowing with every imaginable luxury. The most famous example, the tomb of King Tutankhamun, is a stunning testament to this belief. It was filled with everything he would need for eternity, from his magnificent golden mask to his furniture, his food, and even his chariot. It is a profound and breathtaking promise that the pharaoh will live forever, a king in two worlds. The concept of grave goods is a powerful statement about your beliefs. It tells you that your life is not a one-way street, that your actions here have a direct impact on your life in the next world. The items you're buried with are a tangible manifestation of your hope, your love, and your belief in a universe that is a cycle of death and rebirth. To live here is to live with a constant awareness of the afterlife, to work and to pray, and to live a life in accordance with Ma'at, so that when your time comes, you can step into eternity, not as a stranger, but as a welcome guest in the presence of the gods. You have now completed your journey. You have travelled back over 3,000 years, and for a fleeting moment, you have lived a life bound not by the constraints of time, but by the eternal dance of the Nile and the sun. You have breathed the air of a world where gods walked the earth, and where every action, from a farmer's labour to a pharaoh's command, was a sacred ritual. The dust of the ages has settled on your skin, and the silent voices of the past have spoken to you. What you have seen is not just history, it is a profound living truth. You have discovered a civilization that understood the universe in a way we have long forgotten. They did not see the world as a chaotic accident. They saw it as a meticulously crafted tapestry, a grand performance where every thread had a purpose. They lived in a world where the line between life and death was blurred, where the stars above were a roadmap to eternity, and where the gods themselves were present in the rustle of the papyrus reeds. And in this mystery, you have found a part of yourself. You have learned that the fear of death can be transformed into a preparation for a beautiful journey, that a life of purpose can be found in the simplest of tasks, and that there is a quiet, profound power in a belief that binds a community together. The pyramids are not just tombs, they are a cosmic promise, a staircase to the stars. The mummies are not just preserved bodies, they are sacred vessels for a soul on a journey. And the gods themselves are not just statues, they are a living, breathing part of a world that you have now experienced. As you step back into your modern life, you are no longer just a spectator. The sand of Egypt is in your shoes, and the wisdom of the ancients is in your heart. You have been a part of this world, a person who lived and breathed and worked under the scorching sun of a forgotten land. And perhaps now, when you look at an image of a pyramid or a pharaoh, you will not just see a monument to a king, but a sacred living testament to the human soul's eternal journey, a mystery that continues to whisper to us from across the ages. If this journey into the heart of ancient Egypt left you with a sense of wonder, remember that the past holds countless more secrets. To ensure you don't miss our next adventure, please leave a like and subscribe. It's all it takes to join our community of seekers of the ancient whispers. And you may want to click on the next video to continue your quest through the great civilizations of history. Until we meet again, sweet dreams, fellow guardians of human wisdom.